Alright, welcome to Bicentennial Capitol Mall Park in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, this is a park sort of in the center of town, and it details the history of Nashville when it comes to music, geography, and what else you can think of. So, when we get to the next stop, we'll talk then. Alright, here we are at the history section. This is the wall right here that details the history from 1 billion years ago up until 1996, which was the 200th anniversary of Tennessee as a state. You see, 1 billion years ago there. There it says it right there. And there you go.
Art.
However, to continue here, you can see we have, it says 10,000 BC. That's the first period where it's documented that the indigenous people actually lived here. And then we have the woodland period, which was between 2000 BC and 1000 AD, where mounds were built. So you can see it's all documented along here. And mounds were a very big part of the indigenous culture down here. Alright, continue the tour. Now here we are at the next stop here. Now this is the part that talks about the Europeans. Now apparently led by Hernando de Soto in 1540, they led an expedition up the Mississippi and into Tennessee looking for gold and silver. Now the Cherokee and the Ute living here, the Cherokee are very much synonymous with Tennessee because apparently they were the one tribe that was most willing to actually blend in with European ways of life and the most civilized. And the other reason is they're the last ones standing before the Indian Removal Act in this area around here and maybe a little further out from here. Everybody, this is McNary Spring, named after Judge John McNary, who owned this area back then. Apparently it was a real spring back then, but this is just a model spring to commemorate it. Now, it's not on right now because it's in the cold right now. It's October 31st. For us, it's not cold. For them, it is. Now, when this spring is up, it's basically a monument to June 1st, 1796, and for when the day that Tennessee became a state. Already here, this spot here commemorates the name of the state, the nickname of the state, the volunteer state. Now, apparently what happened was, in the War of 1812, actually it was in 1815, in the Battle of New Orleans, there were so many Tennesseans who volunteered to help Andrew Jackson in this cause. So that's one of the main reasons the state of Tennessee earned the nickname the volunteer state. Alrighty, this part here commemorates James Knox Polk, who was President of the United States from 1845 to 1849. Now, during that time, they annexed that part of Mexico, and eventually the United States extended all the way to the Pacific Ocean. He believed in manifest destiny, so of course he wanted to annex all that land. Now, apparently he had served as Speaker of the House for the U.S., and he'd also been Governor of Tennessee before. And apparently, not long after his term ended, he actually died. Some people think he actually worked himself to death. I'll let you be the judge of that. Alright, here's the tour. Now here, we have the Park of Mississippi War. Now, they show this photo was over here. They talk about how it's a fractured union. Now, apparently, Tennessee was the last one to leave the Union and the first one to rejoin. You can see it goes down here. There's a little family right there. So, there you have it. Hi, folks. Here's a part that commemorates the 100th anniversary of Tennessee right here. This little spot right here, and I guess these little monuments here. Now, apparently, in 1896, that was roughly the time when a lot of expeditions were occurring. Actually, the one in Nashville was in 1897, but it was roughly about the same time. Alright, here we have the Civil Rights Memorial. Now, during the Civil Rights Movement, apparently they had protestations of the restaurants in the city, and they were at lunch stools. So these represent lunch stools, and what they were protesting was the fact that there was segregation in restaurants. So that's essentially what this is all about. Alright, now here we are with the wall, which is called the 80s and 90s. Now, this basically talks about things like when car manufacturing companies came and set up some of their plants here. It also talks about when the city got some sports teams like the Nashville Predators, being a hockey person, obviously in 1998, and the Tennessee Titans came in the 90s as well from Houston. And it also talks about the homecoming, which happened in 1986. Apparently that was a situation where everyone was getting prepared for this particular event right here, which would be the 200th anniversary of Tennessee, and they came, they shared a lot of their history. Now, heading down this way as well, you'll see down here it talks about Al Gore, who was Vice President in the Clinton era, and he was actually from the Nashville area. Alright, continue the tour now. Here we have World War II Memorial. Now, these parts here represent what the Americans did in the Pacific. Okay, and here we have a little monument there to the world, showing the world was at war. And here we have what the Americans did in Europe. Okay, now over here, if you look at this, here we have the benches that represent the 7 people that were medals of honor during the Second World War. But the big one is Charles Coolidge right here. He's a really big one right here. He's a very big name. In fact, if you go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, Coolidge Park was named after him. And if you go to the Medal of Honor Museum there, you'll see his name there big time, and that's the National Medal of Honor of the country. Alright, we're going to continue the tour now. Here we have a little monument here to the World at War. Now here, if you look closer right here, this is Tennessee right here, the state right here, and it shows how far they traveled during the war to do all the fighting. Now I should mention that when it's warmer times, they have water coming out of here, and actually it lifts this thing up and it rotates. But unfortunately, it's a little too cold for people who live down here now. All right, continue the tour. Now here we are commemorating when Elvis Presley came on the scene. In 1956, he released his hit, I Forgot to Remember Forget, and then just a week later, the Hotel. And this is where his career really took off from here. Hi, we're going to continue the tour. Now here we have the monument to Nashville's music scene. Now you know the city's obviously big for country music, but anyways, here it is right here. You can see a lot of things here that look like sort of like solid three pillars. You can see it goes around here, around here, around here, and around here, and it goes over to here. Now I should mention, Nashville is often called the Athens of the South because there's a lot of these Greek architectural styles. You can see sort of the distance right there. You have the state capitol, and it's got that Greek style there. So that's part of it right there. And if you ever visited the Parthenon, you'd see that's very much the replica of the one in Athens. All right, continue the tour. Now here we have the nature spot. Now here we have the part that represents from east to west Tennessee. Look over here. You've got some of these rocks. There's the limestone rocks here. And you look down here. There's a bunch of these on the ground here. These are time capsules. There's 95. They show all the 95 counties of Tennessee. Now, if you head in this direction, it shows the change of landscape as you go towards West Tennessee, and we'll show more later. All right, continue the tour. Now, here we are moving towards the Cumberland Plateau. It goes lower down, but it's not quite so low because it's a plateau. You can see we have some magnolia trees which are more representative of the further. The topography comes down a bit here and goes down here, so it's a little bit higher brow, but it's lower down there, so that represents the Cumberland Plateau where Nashville is located. And of course, Nashville is on the Cumberland River as well. All right, continue the tour. Now here we are on the Cumberland Plateau. You can see there's still a fair bit of limestone here. Okay. Now if you look up here, we have the Virginia pine, which is common in eastern Tennessee. But you can see in the west as well. We'll look up there. See, it goes way up there. Okay. And head over here. Here's a little more of how it might change as you go toward the central and western Tennessee. But most importantly, look over here. Here we have the tulip poplar, which is the state tree of Tennessee. Go way up there. See that there? And there you go. All right, continue the tour. Now here we are in central Tennessee. Now here we have the cedar glades, which is an ecosystem here. And if you look at here, we have the yucca plant, which is common in this area here. And then the juniper trees up there. You can see that up there. Okay, now as we go on here, a little more of the same thing here. Now I should mention, what you see here, a lot of this is common in the Cedars of Lebanon State Park, not too far from here. How we continue the tour. Now here we have the location of the original Tennessee State Capitol. Now it was built out of local limestone. It was very badly cut. It was cut in such a way that it rode easily. So what they had to do when they built the current Capitol, they used Indiana limestone, which stood up to the erosion much better. Hi, we continue the tour. Now here we are at the West Tennessee, sort of near Memphis. Now this is a wetlands area, much more flat. As you can see, it's way on the ground now. It's flat now. You can see now here we have one of these trees right here. This kind of tree. What's this tree called?
It is a water oak.
There you go, and it survives very well in a wetlands environment. You see here, and I can see there's another water oak right here. It's just a smaller one. And if you look over here, we have some of the cypress trees right here, and they survive well in the wetlands environment as well. Hi, we continue the tour. Now here we have the amphitheater. Now this was built in 1996 for the Bicentennial anniversary. Now they chose an amphitheater because they had a lot of Greek architecture in Nashville, so it would blend in very nice. And now you can see it starts here. Okay, you can see it goes over there, over here. See that over there. Okay, now we'll come over here a bit. Look a bit down there. You can see. Let's zoom in on there. That's sort of what it looks like down there. Okay, and there you go. However, here we are turning the tour. Now we have a view of the amphitheater from the side right here. You can see it goes along there. Now it goes to the front here. Here's the frontal view of it here. Now, if you look at the background here, I'm talking about the state capitol. We're going to zoom in right now. You can see it right there. There it is in the Greek architecture there. You can see the flags on the top right there. Okay. All right, so as I mentioned, they built this so it would not impede the view. So this is the Bicentennial State Mall Capitol Park in Nashville, Tennessee. You have to come check it out.